Just want to welcome everyone to the show. We got some UFC news to cover this week, and a lot of it. So let's get into this week's podcast.
Step in the ring, feel the adrenaline rush, throwing fists and kicks, the pain we can't hush. And MMA Finest, we're the real tough guys, breaking down barriers, we aim for the skies. Into the octagon, like a warrior I stand, slaying blows, taking hits as I command. The art of combat, I'm ready to go. Submission, knockout, that's how I flow. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling with might, a golden octagon. The stage we ignite. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling like a golden octagon. The stage we ignite.
And we are live from the Golden Octagon Studios in Norfolk, Virginia. This is the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast with your hosts, Matt and D. Rose.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. My name is Matt. D. Rose is on that side of your screen, and we made it here, D Rose. This past weekend of fights were absolutely, in your famous words, hot dog water. I think you like to say, or like dog water. You know, just terrible fights, dude. But we made it through to this weekend. But in between our show this past weekend, or in between our podcast last week and the fights this past weekend, a whole lot of news has taken place. So today's show is going to be quite entertaining as far as news and all the switch arounds. And I don't know if you saw it, but about an hour ago, the news just keeps on coming. So one of the fights that are happening this weekend got swapped around with the fight that was going to be happening last weekend as well. So we'll get into that as well, dude. It's the news is flowing for the UFC this week. But with that being said, let me give you an actual rundown for the show. We're going to run over UFC Vegas 93 real quick. There are a couple points that I would like to make on the card, and you see that shiny strap over D Rose's shoulder this week. That means he got it back. Mine's going to be disappearing when I have to eat the beans. And it's a special week this week for D Rose because it's a first here on the channel. It hasn't happened yet. We got through like 6 months of it not happening, but we'll get to it when it happens. And then our longest segment on the show this week are going to be our most entertaining show on the segment or on the podcast this week. Probably going to be our UFC news and fight announcements. And lastly, we got, I think, 10 or 11 fights to go over for this upcoming weekend. Not the longest card, but it is going to take place around noon. So midday fight card. But before we do all that, D-Rose, let me shout out the chat real quick, and then we'll get into the show. Appreciate you stopping by here tonight, Lush. Glad to see you back in here, man. We missed you the past couple of weeks or so. Another Golden Wednesday with the boys. Glad you could make it tonight, Lush.
Lush, hope all is well with you, brother.
Yes, indeed. Austin saying, Lush, so good to see you back, man. Happy midweek crisis to everyone from Austin. And Dave Fishford saying, let's make some freaking bread this weekend, boys. I appreciate you, Austin. Your boy is back, says Lush. Thank goodness. We missed you, Lush. You don't know how hard this was last week, Lush. Just trying to take the notes down. It's always tough, dude. Daniel Aker, appreciate you stopping by tonight, brother. We got Frank in here. Lynn's the Rock. Happy Wednesday, everyone. And yo, man, I got super lucky and pulled Alex Pereira Lava Revolutions for my first Chronicle Blast ever. That is sick, man. Congrats. That's a sick card. So with that being said, D-Rose, we got through the chat real quick. Since last week, aside from discussing any news or UFC fight topics or anything like that, how have you been over the past week, my guy?
Things have been great. And I mean, for me personally, it has been things been great. Just kicking it through another week. But unfortunately, the betting part for UFC kind of got me this week. I was pretty good in terms of our picks, but there were a few picks that I had that were wrong that I ended up putting in parlays and just ended up really costing me this week. And I came up with the big fat goose egg. So. Going to hope to kind of rebound and reset for this week, but other than that, things have been great over here. How's everything been with you?
That's great to hear, man. I love to hear it when D Rose don't have anything, bad going on in life. He's just, just kicking it, just taking it day by day. That's what I love to hear, D Rose. All good news. But over my end, dude, just pretty regular. My girlfriend's mom is here, so she flew her in from Texas, so they've been kind of hanging out all day. Like, she's a little bit older, so I'm trying to be super respectful and everything like that. So I don't want to say on the eggshells around my house, but just kind of let them do their own thing. But aside from last week, apart from that, last weekend, dude, Change the Cheddar didn't give out any winning parlays, which is sad for me because dude, that's what I try to do. I try to give at it's cool if I win, but I just cheer by myself. But if I'm able to give out winning parlays here on the channel, dude, that makes me feel so good. And unfortunately, we got close this past weekend, but it just a couple of the wrong reads, just like always. I was able to chase, after all those fell out, and I was able to hit a 5 to 200, but I can't be here bragging if I didn't give it out to everyone else on the channel. But with that being said, I'm glad we got more fights this weekend. Last weekend was super sketchy if you were betting on that. But speaking about last weekend, dude, let's just get into it real quick. So this past weekend, in the main event, Tatsuro Taira TKOs Alex Perez with a takedown, reap to his knee, dude. Blew out Alex Perez's knee, and he's tapping on the ground, dude. Dude, I guess this is the one that I'm all right, dude, he's for real. I've kind of been is Tatsuro actually that guy? And I thought Alex Perez was that test because Alex Perez has actually been looking really, really good his past few fights. So I thought this was the one okay, this is the test. And Tatsuro Taira just tore through Alex Perez like a hot knife through butter, dude. It didn't even matter. I'm not going to go through this whole card, though. A few other points that I would like to make on it is Brady Heastan versus Garrett Armfield. And I think Brady Heastan is probably one of the fighters that I have the best read on, dude. I don't remember if it was a podcast Wednesday or Change the Cheddar Friday, dude. I described Heastan as a dog on a bone. Once he grabs you, dude, you are going to the ground. I don't care how long it takes to get you there. That dude is stuck on you until you are on the ground. And he has gas tank to go all 3 rounds, dude. Brady Heastan is I don't really like strictly just lay and pray fucking wrestlers, but Brady Heastan is a dog that I enjoy his game, dude. So shout out Brady Heastan for getting the 3rd round sub. And the last one that I really want to talk about on all these terrible fights, dude, and I gotta give her flowers, man. You may not know her. I don't even know if I have it uploaded. Let me upload this to the overlay just real quick. Man,
I know where you're going with it, though. I know where you're going with this.
I had it here. Man. I can't. The file is too big. But anyway, Crispy Carly Judice, dude. She is now 3-2 overall. But Lafayette, Louisiana, stand up. You have another star in the making, in my opinion. You have Daniel D.C. Cormier. You have Dustin the Diamond Poirier. And then you now have Crispy Carly Judice, dude. I am a fan. 5 fights overall now. The girl is a dog. I can't imagine her with 10 fights, dude. And like you may think, yeah, she has 5 fights, but you know, what's her previous background? Is it kickboxing? Is it boxing? No, it's softball, dude. This girl is a dog, dude. Crispy Carly Judice, you have a fan in me. So that's what I got from this past weekend, D-Rose. Anything from you, my guy?
Yeah, I remember you were pretty pumped up about Carly Judice. You even sent me a message and was like, "Man, she looks good, dude. You know, win, lose, or draw. I'm a fan." So he's definitely not BS, and he was actually telling me during the fight how much she has already won him over already. But I will have to say, very easily one of the worst cards of all time. I mean, let's just put that out there. Like, I mean, that card, I mean, that was a tough watch from beginning to end. I mean, no real like highlights. I mean, again, I mean, there's fighters who were hurt by the hands on this card, but again, not really any knockouts or anything like that. So I'm curious about the new UFC gloves and really if they're hurting knockouts, if they're helping knockouts. But of course, there's more time to tell. There's only been about 3 events
2 cards.
since.
Yeah,
2-3 events. So not too many to tell right now. But yeah, this card was rough. Hated to see Alex Perez end up getting injured, but it was technically the move from Tyra that ended up causing the injury. So I mean, I guess you can't really take it away from Tyra. I guess you could say there's still enough to be said that there's a little bit left to still be proven by him. I mean, he beat a good guy, but I mean, I think it was still halfway through the second round when it ended up happening. So I don't know if we really got a truly good gauge because I thought Perez, sort of challenged him a little bit in round 1 on the feet a little bit. So I still think there's a little bit left there for Tyra to be challenged, maybe before jumping up to a title shot. I think there's still got to be maybe one more fight, but yeah, I think he can definitely compete amongst the top at flyweight. As you said, that Brady Heath and Garrett Armfield fight. Now if there's one highlight that I could take away from this card, it was that fight. Just because, I picked Garrett Armfield, but thank goodness he wasn't in the pick champ, or I would have actually been pretty ticked off there. But no, that fight, absolute barn burner. Brady ended up getting dropped there in the second round. He ended up getting dropped with a jab. And, I was kind of like raising my hands like, hey, there he goes again, man. Like Brady Heath's got a motor, but he gets hit too many times.
He gets dropped. I don't think he's been in one fucking UFC fight where he hasn't gotten floored at least once. And he's only lost once.
I'm like, dude, he's there. There he is getting rocked again. And then all of a sudden, he still ends up weathering the storm, out wrestling Garrett Armfield and going in there for the finish after he really ended up, I think he truly broke Garrett Armfield and ended up getting him to get that submission in the third. Because even after Brady Heath got the submission, Garrett Armfield is just laying like helpless, like across him. And he's not even out. He's just absolutely gassed and doesn't even feel like moving. So he's just laying on top of Brady Heath. But yeah, that was an absolute barn burner. I mean, I guess we can say that I will never bet on a Jacob Saragi fight again. I mean, out of all the ones that burned me, that really burned me. I mean, and I didn't have first round KO or anything. I mean, I just had Jacob Saragi money line in 2 different parlays that would have cashed had he had just won. So yeah, that dude absolutely burned me. Weston Wilson ended up getting the finish on you, dude. That was, good for Weston Wilson because, hey, look, he's been having a rough go in the UFC since he first came in. So it's good to see him finally get his first win. And he said he was going to use his grappling against Jacob Saragi, but very easily said, not betting on that dude ever again. I don't care what the results are. I'm not betting on that dude again.
Another one that
so much.
That burned me this weekend was this comment right here, riding high. Hey, respect from New Zealand. Unlucky with your Nate Maness bets, dude. Did you think there was a chance in the world that Nate Maness didn't finish Jimmy Flick, dude? Like,
Jimmy Flick,
I swear, Nate Maness's best friends, I swear, all had Nate Maness by decision, dude, because he only threw a jab the entire fight. he was just like left. Like he threw no power shots, and then after the fight, he was like, "Hey Jimmy, I respect you." It was just like, "Hey man, bullshit. You should have knocked his ass out, dude." But it is what it is. We got Hawaii 5-0 Aloha jumping in. Smash the like button. Hopefully everyone is having an awesome night. Hopefully you are too, Aloha 5-0. And thank you for hitting that like button. Appreciate you for stopping by tonight, brother. Weston Wilson killed everyone's parlays. Yeah, dude. And the wild part, dude, is the odds for the fight. It was like Jekasarigi round 1-2 minus 220, and if for it to go under like a round and a half was like minus 180, dude. I almost bet the under, but I was like, there's no shot Weston Wilson wins this. So it's like, dude, if I just would have bet the under, I would have hit it, dude. I'm an idiot. I chased and bet Manus by decision plus 550.
Shit, that's a good.
Thankfully
hit.
You did, Tim. Thankfully you did.
Hell yeah.
Like the Newton 3 or decision was a great bet. Yeah, it was. It got a little risky there. It was easy round 1 for Josephine, but round 2 and 3 got a little risky. Not gonna lie. Manus crushed my other parlays. If y'all had time to check out my grandnephew's the crazy Hawaii. Wait, hold on. If y'all have time to check out my grandnephew's the crazy Hawaiian June 28th slap face competition, super heavyweights. All right, man. Well, shout out you and your grand nephew. I took Wilson sub. I watched his fight. I watched him fight Joe Anderson Brito. Yeah, I just thought Weston Wilson's chin was just so bad that he was just going to get hit one time and get knocked out. And he's like, he got hit once, and after that first punch, when he was there still, I was like, fuck, this ain't good. I was like, Jack is not winning this fight because he just landed clean on him and he just ate it. I was like, oh, this ain't going the way it is. But with that being said,
chin is great though. I will give him that. The dude's got a great chin, and he's not scared to get hit. Like some fighters, of course, nobody wants to get hit, but that dude can get hit and keep on trucking, dude.
It's like Johnny Walker, but doesn't get knocked out. It's like his reactions to getting hit look so bad, but he doesn't get knocked out. Like he'll get hit and be like, ah, and then like take off running, but don't get knocked out.
Yeah, and he's not even buzzed, and he's creating space, and and he's actually like still swinging or going for a takedown or something like that. Like the dude's always fighting, so you got to give him credit for that.
Yeah. Anyway, so with that being said, let's get this over with. We had 6 different picks this past weekend, D-Rose, but only 3 of them counted. Our backup one would have counted. I wish it would have counted because you went Shylin Norton-Becky and I went Mel Costa, but that one does not count. So our 3 that do count was Lucas Almeida versus Timmy Kumba, where I went Timmy Kumba and you went Lucas Almeida. Our second one that counts is Asu Amabayev versus Jose Johnson, where I went Jose Johnson and you went Asu Amabayev. And our third different one that counts was Adam Fugit versus Josh Quinlan. And, dude, I got to be honest, I was looking at the screen and I couldn't tell you what happened in that fight, dude. I'm like, this shit sucks. Like, I don't even care. I don't even care. But I went Josh Quinlan, D Rose went Adam Fugit. So for the first time here on the Golden Octagon MMA podcast, D Rose gets the clean sweep, and I have to eat 3 Bean Boozled this week.
The 3 bean special.
But it's like, man, like I've gotten D-Rose multiple times on the 3 beans. This is the first one. Hopefully I get as lucky as D-Rose got and got all good beans. So give a little shake in here. Let's see what dude. Not even beans special. Dude, I could fuck y'all's whole shit up. Look at this. I got 3 blue ones right there.
Oh, come on.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. But
you got to grab for one. Yeah, the key is to grab for one.
There are 3 different colors here, though. So I will grab this one, which is that the booger one or the pear?
Oh, gosh.
I will grab this one, which is a toasted marshmallow or something terrible anyway. And one
Bro.
of the three blue ones that I have, let's go with this one. So let's put the other two blue ones back in there. And then, for the triple beaner this week, first time I've ever had to do 3 beans. I got, almost dropped it. I got a blue one, a green one, and a brownish white one. So let's see.
Let's go.
We got
booger, man.
Oh, dude, that's stink bugger toasted marshmallow, dude. I think I got the stink bug before, and that one actually tastes like a stink bug smells. Not good.
Wait until you get that booger. Wait until you get that booger.
Well, hopefully it's the juicy pear, right?
For your sake, but not for the boys' sake.
All right, you guys. Let's get this over with. I'm gonna save the blue one for last in case it's the toothpaste. So I'm gonna set that down there. Let's go with let's do booger second, because I feel like if this is fucking stink bug, I might immediately throw up. So
yeah, I'm glad.
First bean.
I'm glad I didn't lose this week, so that way I don't have to worry about throwing up my dinner that I ate prior.
All right, let's see what you guys got to say here. Dirty dishwater, go, yeah. Come on, Bean Boy. T-Beans.
The 3 bean special, baby. 3 bean special.
Grab the puke bag. Here we go. First one, stink bug or toasted marshmallow? I don't know what that is, but that ain't good either way. I took too many chews of that one. I was like, what is this one?
Hey, dude, I'm telling you, like,
that's stink bug,
some
dude.
of the...
I think you had a drink, dude.
It's almost like when you kill a stink bug.
It's the after flavor. It's not good.
It's like when you kill a stink bug. It like takes a second, and all of a sudden you're like, dude, what the hell does that smell?
Exactly. Oh man.
Dude, some of the ones, even when the flavor is supposed to be good, are not that good. Like they're not at all. Oh,
Here we go. The booger or juicy pear? I'm hoping this is the juicy pear, because if I get 3 bad beans, dude, come on, man.
Come on, booger. Dude,
no, that's so bad. That's foul, dude. That's so foul, dude.
Dude.
Oh my god, dude! It is like, we've all been sick, and had some fucking snot in our fucking mouths and shit, and it's not even like a fresh booger flavor. It's like all the worst old booger you can imagine flavor.
That's when you dug out the carpet.
It's like an old booger it's like an old booger that's been underneath a fucking desk for like 30 years, and someone just picks it off and ate that.
That's when a kid dug up from under his rug in his bedroom.
All right, hopefully this one's toothpaste, because I could use a nice refreshing flavor in my mouth. Toothpaste. I got all 3 bad beans, D-Rose. What are the odds, man? But I'm eating this one.
Considerably. I mean, yeah, that's like a mint flavor, man. That's not that bad. That's not bad to end it on. But man, I do have to say, because I know Dave's asking about how bad can booger be, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I said dirty dishwater is the worst. Booger might actually be the worst one. Like that, it is dreadful. It's the worst one out of all of them for sure. As Matt said, tastes like stale boogers. I thought it tastes like stale, like banana peppers, or and like moldy banana peppers too, or not banana peppers, like bell peppers. It kind of like
resembles the dirty dishwater and the fucking stinky socks, dude. They all 3 have this. It's like a distinct funk that is like only described as it tastes really old. Like I don't know how else to explain it. It tastes like it smells like someone's grandmother's attic. Like that's what the taste is. Like it doesn't make sense. Is having a drink cheating? No way, Dave. No way, man. Stink bug. Matt is going through the gauntlet tonight, dude. That was a rough one, dude. If imagine it would have been like bandage and like not toothpaste, dude, I would have cried. That would have been like the worst one. How is the booger that, dude? It's pretty bad, dude. Like booger sounds the least dangerous. It really does, but
it does.
That,
you would,
that was
and
by
I
far
swear,
one of the
I thought
worst
the same
ones
thing.
I've had, though. Like that was one of the worst ones that I've had.
I thought the same thing when I first tried it. I was like, you know what? It's booger. It can't be worse than dirty dishwater, right? Right? And no, not true at all. It's absolutely awful.
I think the only thing I haven't gotten yet, D-Rose, was the dead fish and the rotten egg. I've gotten everything. I've gotten barf. I've gotten toothpaste. I've gotten stinky socks. I've gotten stink bug. I've gotten dirty dishwater. I've gotten old bandage a few times. I've gotten
dead fish
now.
is pretty bad. Dead fish is pretty damn bad.
I've gotten liver and onions, man.
All the bad ones are obviously bad. And dead fish is pretty bad too. But man, I'm not gonna lie. I think booger takes the crown right now.
Oh well, I'm glad that is over with, man. You
gonna come back ready with so much research for this weekend. You never want to lose again,
dude. That was rough.
It motivates you to be ready for next week.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the rest of the show now. We got some UFC news and fight announcements that have gone on since this past weekend, or since last week, D-Rose. So I guess we'll just start like this. I'll pull it up and then we'll cover anything we didn't talk about once we get done here. So I got a new comment here. What does it say? We got Tank Niner. I'm becoming, and I have no idea what that is, Tank Niner, but congratulations to you, Tank Niner. I have no idea what that is. Okay, cool. Here we go.
If that's a good thing, Tank Niner, congratulations to you. I'm not sure what it is either, but it sounds like it's supposed to be a good thing. So
it sounds very.
And if not, apologies.
It sounds very professional. All right, D-Rose. So last week on the podcast, Ikram Aliskerov was going to be fighting Antonio Tricoli on last week's card. But after the podcast, you can attest to this, man. Like, how did the conversation go when we've got the news that Khamzat was not going to make the Saudi Arabia card? What was the exact word the exact sentence that I sent you? Or you probably don't remember.
Yeah, that they should consider putting Ikram in there to fight, because I said that I saw where multiple people were tweeting that it was supposed to be Nasruddin. He said, yeah, that would be a good fight, but they should think about doing Ikram, and yeah, it came true.
It just only made sense, dude. It's like fucking Nasruddin just now fought the week before, and Ikram hadn't fought yet, but he was going to be fighting an absolute can. So why not see if Robert will take this fight against him? Because to be honest, it's about the same fight for Robert. It's a lot different of a fight for Ikram, but that's our first bit of news: is Khamzat out of the fight this weekend, and Ikram steps in. So anything else from this fight, D-Rose? I know we're going to talk about it at the end of the show today, but
yeah, we'll get into it here in a little bit. So
all right. So move on to the next one. So also on UFC, or here's our first news for UFC 303. Jamal Hill is out with a knee injury, dude. So Anthony Smith steps in to face the Black Jag, Carlos Ulberg, on UFC 303, June 29th, dude. How do I say this? I wanted to see Jamal Hill get knocked out again, just to be like, hey man, not as good as you think you are. But at the same time, it's like he's injured. I would like to see a healthy Jamal Hill in there, where he can get beat by someone, where he can have no excuses. But but we get the fight of Anthony Smith versus Carlos Ulberg, dude, and I probably think Carlos Ulberg knocks out Anthony Smith. However, dude, we saw Anthony Smith do it in his last fight against Vitor Petrino, dude, the undefeated guy, you know?
Yeah, no, Anthony Smith is always capable of. If you're not supposed to be in there with him, if you look at guys like Devin Clark and Jimmy Crute, and you look at guys like that he's fought in the past, if they're not supposed to be in there with him, he pretty much disposes of them pretty quickly. Like he doesn't waste any time. Vitor, like you said, Vitor Petrino as well. I think for Carlos Ulberg, it felt like the Jamal Hill fight was like a little too quick. And look, I know, just like you were saying, a lot of people don't think that Jamal Hill is maybe as good, but I think just in tier of the rankings, Carlos Ulberg really hasn't fought anybody yet to, I guess, kind of earn a Jamal Hill type of fight. So I think this is kind of the proper fight against Anthony Smith to then kind of, catapult him up into the top 10, top 8, top 5 type of fight after that, and then maybe fight for the title after that. So I think it's a proper fight for Carlos Ulberg, but also a tough fight in the same sense, because we know Anthony Smith is always a dog. So that one should be a good fight.
Yeah, dude, I'm for sure excited for that one. And shout out Frank for donating 1 membership here on the channel. Appreciate you, Frank. So we've got Dave Fish for days. Anthony Smith exposes some people. I think it'll be a good fight, and it definitely could be, man. And so Tate and I are trying to spread that second amendment love. He said is a range safety concealed weapons permit instructor. That's pretty cool. Tate Matter, just be safe out there, man. Just be safe out there. There's some crazies. I think Ulberg is better than Khalil and Jan at this point.
It's just hard to tell, man.
Yeah,
it's so hard to tell, especially because he beat Alonzo Menifield in what, like 7-8 seconds. Like, I mean, what are we supposed to take away from that other than? I mean, the dude has a dangerous left hook. Don't get me wrong, but the Anthony Smiths, the Jan Blachowicz, the Alexander Rakic's, like that's who you want to see Carlos Ulberg beat before we can really determine if he is better than those guys. You want to see those fights happen.
I agree. And taking the place of the Jamal Hill versus Carlos Ulberg spot was the co-main event is this one right here, man. And I have a
I know you have a love for both of these guys.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like I don't know how I can explain how I feel about this fight because I do love both of these fighters, and I'm pretty sure the only time I ever picked against Brian Ortega was in his last fight against Yair Rodriguez, dude, and he won. So it's like that. I was like, that's it. I'm never picking against Brian Ortega again. But dude, this fight is 2 of my favorite fighters. Kind of T-City, some of my old generation favorite fighters, and Diego Lopez, one of these fighters that have burst onto the scene within the past year and become big stars for the most part. Every MMA fan knows who this guy is. So he has a unique personality. He's got this hairdo, dude, and I am excited for this fight. And to be honest, man, I don't know which way I'm going to go here, if I'm going to be completely honest. So what's your thoughts on this one, man?
Yeah, I mean, in the rough part is, because I'm also, I know you've been a T-City fan for a while. I know you're a bigger T-City fan than me, but yeah, I've also always been a T-City fan. The dude's always in action fights. I mean, I don't know how you can't love him. And then, of course, Diego Lopez, look, I mean, you got my thumbnail as his hair for a reason, I mean, the dude's just an absolute dog. Love watching that dude fight. He gets after it, every single time he goes to war. So yeah, we love the styles, and honestly, this is a little bit of the Spider-Man meme, man. I mean, just in terms of their style, I mean, I think Brian Ortega is the more dangerous striker just because he can use his elbows and knees and stuff like that. But both of them are just walk forward, just use their pressure, and they can use their power to either knock you out or they can take you down and use their jiu-jitsu to submit you from just about anywhere with any tricky submission. So. Yeah, this is it's an awesome fight, man, and I am with you. I'm still up in the air on who I'm going to pick.
Yeah, because dude, I don't think Ortega ever been like knocked out, right?
No, not ever knocked out. He's been hurt. Like Max hurt him a couple times. No,
yeah, like the TKO, like the in
it.
between.
Yeah,
but like knocked out.
But in terms of like him actually like getting TKO'd like that, like no, that dude's an absolute zombie. Not the Korean zombie, but the Ortega zombie.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited for UFC 303. And then this one, dude, it was put in place to save UFC 300, man. And they go back to it to save UFC 303. Conor McGregor is out versus Michael Chandler, canceled due to McGregor's injury. And Chael Sonnen came out today and said there was no injury at all. He is going to rehab. So that's kind of interesting to hear. I don't know if that's true or not, but it is from Chael Sonnen. So take that with a grain of salt. But our main event for UFC 303 is now Alex Poatan Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka. Number 2, D-Rose, is going to headline International Fight Week. What's your immediate thoughts on this happening, man?
I mean, Alex Pereira at this point can just put on a cape, and because I mean, how many times is he going to save these pay-per-views, save these cards that end up needing saving, man? I mean, as you said, got called up for UFC 300, got called up for UFC 303, and then was it 295, the MSG card last year as well? I mean, I know he was already booked up the card against Yuri, so they just bumped it up to the main event. But that's the thing. They made him him and Yuri the main event. And now they're going back to this fight again to save UFC 303. So I think it's because people can make the argument that, okay, Magomed should deserve a title fight next. Dude, nobody wants to see him fight for the damn title. Dude, get the hell out of here. Yuri Prochazka is super fun. Of course, the first fight, the way it ended, a little bit controversial, you can say. You can say it's a little bit of an early stoppage, and Yuri was having some success. And I saw a lot of people even throwing around the scorecard that Yuri had won the first round in their fight. So I think it's a lot closer of a fight than what people were thinking. The last fight left a little bit of controversy there at the end. Yuri came back and stomped out Rakic. So, I mean, the matchup is absolute fireworks. We know how dangerous Alex Pereira is. Dude's just a stone cold killer, and Yuri's just an all-out action man. So, yeah, the fight shouldn't fail. And, yeah, Alex Pereira here to save another pay-per-view again, man. It's crazy.
Let's go, Yuri. Dude, I would love to see him like win, but, man, after that last fight, Lush, I'm going to pull your comment up. I love Yuri, and I think Alex leaves him. Yuri gets hit too much, dude. I just think it's like, I mean, there's a chance, dude, but what I'm going to be betting is the under. Just whatever the under is, probably just going to bet the under, man. Like, I'm not going to risk it. I'm not going to risk it this time. I want to be rooting for Yuri, but I do love Alex Pereira, too. As long as one of them just knock the other one out, I'll be happy. So, yeah, that being said, let's move on. We got more. We've got more. So this is the entire UFC 303 main card. I'll zoom in on that so you guys can see it. Main event, Alex Pereira, Yuri Prochazka. Co-main, T-City and Diego Lopez. Feature fight is Anthony Smith, Carlos Ulberg. And then what the fuck is this? Who put that there? Myra Buena Silva versus Macy Chiasson on the main card.
Can we not just take Ricky Simone versus Vinicius Oliveira and switch that out? I mean, I'd rather do that than I mean, what are we doing? Like Cuts wants an Andre Fili, Charles Jourdain, and
who put this card on there? Who put this fight on that?
Peyton Talbot. I mean,
that should
please.
open up. That should open up the night. Myra Bueno Silva, Macy Jesson. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, Ian Gary, and it's above Ian Gary versus MVP. It's above Joe Pyfer versus Mark Andre Barrio. Anyway,
No, that's sad. It's above Ian Gary MVP. Like Ian Gary MVP could be the co-main, and they were the feature bout on the O'Malley and Cheetah Vera card under Dustin Poirier and Benoit Saint Denis as the co-main MVP, and Kevin Holland was. So for him to be under Myra Bueno Silva now, that's rough.
Yeah. And then Cub Swanson, Andre Feely, Charles Jourdain. Is it Gene Silva? Yeah. Peyton Talbot. We're gonna crush this dude. Michelle Watterson, Julian Robertson. Good fight. Andre Arlovsky, Martin Buday, dude. Andre Arlovsky's still trying to fight, man. He's gonna get crushed. And I don't know though. First, I mean this one right here. Road to UFC. Versus Carlos Hernandez and Ricky Simone, Vinicius Oliveira. Yeah, it should be an interesting fight card. Hopefully they restructure it though, because here we go, dude. We got Dennis Bazooka versus Danny Silva, August 24th. You care about that one at all?
Yeah, I mean that should be an awesome fight. Danny Silva comes to the scrap, and so does Dennis Bazooka. So, yeah, that should be a good fight.
Yeah. Daniel Aker, Alex too skillful. Under is the way. Yeah. Connor versus Chandler in the Sphere. I hope not, because I would like to go to the Sphere card. And if Connor's fighting that, I definitely can't afford it. I think
I'll take it now.
Conversation. Yeah. Oh no. Pereira definitely deserves Christmas card from Dana. He has saved like 15 pay-per-views the last 2 years. Yeah. Gary bullies him or he gets caught. I mean, yeah. All right. So move on to the next one. Oh, man, why did that happen? Here we go. This fight is not happening, D-Rose, because Cedric Dumas cannot fly to Saudi Arabia. So, yeah, that was going to be happening this weekend. We've got Johnny Parsons going to be taking out Yasaku Kinoshita August 10th. Do you care about that at all?
No.
All right. Josephine Newton beat the brakes off of Julia Pilastri in round 1 and then got close to the other 2 rounds. Let's get through these because I don't want to see half these. I don't want to be reminded. Yeah, dude. Jarikas Duplessis versus Israel Adesanya headlines UFC 305. I believe that was already pretty known by everyone, but what's your thoughts on it actually being targeted or announced now, August 17th?
Yeah, dope that it's here, that it's official now, and of course, Izzy taking a long time off from a Sean Strickland loss. I think this might be something that might be good for him, just because people don't really take into account the activity that Izzy had as far as being a champion. Like dude, nobody fought as often as he did.
Except
he was
Alex
fighting
now.
yeah, no, seriously. That's another thing that Alex is trying to take from Izzy is the activity champion, man. He's coming to take everything Izzy worked for. But no, that's one thing that people can give Izzy credit for, is always staying active. But I think the time off would be good for him. But Drakus as well. This is a fight that he's been wanting. Man, Drakus' style, man. He's obviously shown that he's tough to be finished, and that dude, he can go all 5 rounds of that style and keep up that same pace. So I think super interesting fight, and I think Izzy was only like a -1. He opened as like a -150, 160, something like that. It's kind of somewhere within that range, and I think that sounds about right.
If he gets
Drakus could be a small dog, but
I'm gonna drop a bomb on Izzy if he gets to the dog.
Yeah. I think it's fair. I think that's fair to say as well. But right now, Drakus is, he's on a run himself. So, you can't really say too much about him other than, the dude, he, somehow one way or the other finds out a way to win the fight.
Yeah. Interesting. We've got this one. That's this weekend. We've got Chris Duncan out, dude. Me and you talked about this last weekend, or last Wednesday. Nazim Sadikal was going to fight Chris Duncan, and he's now going to face Markel Medeiros in Denver, July 13th. Care about that at all?
I mean, I love Nancy Niles, but not about. I don't know his opponent.
All right. Zach Reese turned around quick. Going to be fighting Jose Medina August 24th.
Well, I mean, it's not like he took a punch in his last fight. I mean, he literally just like knocked Julian Marquez lights out in like 30 seconds.
20 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, didn't even take a punch. So, yeah, I'm sure he could turn around pretty quick, just like Carlos Ulberg.
Yeah. Here we go. We got a fun one here. Jai Herbert taking on Rolando Bedoya in Abu Dhabi August 3rd. What's your thoughts on that one?
Bedoya moving down to 155?
155, looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he looked a little doughy when he was fighting at 170. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense. And, yeah, I mean, that should be a pretty interesting fight. Jai Herbert's a pretty good striker. You know, Rolando Bedoya is pretty well rounded. So yeah, that should be a good fight.
Indeed. And then we've got Chris El Guapo Gutierrez going to be taking on Javid Basharat on Abu Dhabi August 3rd. What's your thoughts on that one? Because Javid just not lost. Yeah.
Happen.
Why?
I don't know. I could just see Chris Gutierrez for some reason. He just seems like the type of guy that might not necessarily make the fight. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if that fight ends up actually happening.
I think because Javid just now lost, I think he is maybe exposed a little hole. So I think this fight will happen, man. And then yeah, dude, this happened today. So Jolton Luderbach is out, and Sharabullet Magomedov will now face Antonio Tricoli. That's the guy that Ikram was going to fight last week, and he got moved to this week's to fight Robert Whittaker. And now Ikram's opponent last week is now going to fight this jump scare of a human being. That is Sharabullet Magomedov, dude. And that's the last one, dude. So, is there anything that we didn't touch on that you wanted to touch on?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, Jake Paul, Mike Perry. Did you happen to see that by any chance? Did it catch your attention?
Wait, like the fight happened already or no?
No. Not the fight happened. That it is official that Mike Perry's going to be fighting Jake Paul. I cannot
do this. You know, I swore off Jake Paul fights after he beat up Anderson Silva. I'm like, I don't even care what happens, dude. But this one is someone that I have some interest in. Because if it's bare knuckle, dude, Mike Perry, dude, that is like his sport, man. So
I don't think they're going to do bare knuckle. I think it's going to be. What? I'm pretty sure it's going to be just boxing.
Dude,
yeah,
if it's boxing, dude, then I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. If it's not bare knuckle, I don't care, dude.
Yeah. I'm 99% sure it's going to be boxing, not a bare knuckle, but yeah, I mean, still, I think Mike Perry's just an absolute dog, so I just like to see that aspect of it, but. I didn't know if anybody was I didn't know if you'd actually be interested or not.
Dude,
but, I know you're a Mike Perry fan at one point in time.
If it was bare knuckle, I would be interested in, dude. I would love to see Jake Paul get the absolute. Dude, could you imagine Jake Paul, Mike Perry bare knuckle, dude? Jake
Paul would lose a lot of teeth.
I would throw a celebration that night. I would have like sparklers. I would have balloons up. Like, yes, we finally get it. We finally get this night. We get to see Jake Paul get the absolute shit kicked out of him. But yeah, if it's not bare knuckle, then I have no interest in it, man. So if you don't have any more news or anything, let's get into the UFC Fight Night Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Whittaker versus Aliskerov preview and our picks for this weekend. So
a lot of fights gonna move around, huh?
Yeah, dude. Quite a few. Like last minute. I'll take it. I'm not the big champ anymore. It just holds my flag up there at this point. I hate the beans. It is what it is. All right. So I have to share my screen first. I'm wondering why it's not sharing. There we go. Yeah, so here we go, D-Rose. Well, Let's see. No, dude. This is the moment that we get to see Jake Paul go to sleep. I'm just not convinced if they have giant gloves. Lush is ready. We appreciate you, Lush, or I appreciate you, Lush, more than you know, man. So let's get into this weekend's fight card, D-Rose. We have 11 fights this weekend taking place Saturday, June 22nd at noon East Coast time on ABC and ESPN. So going to be headlined by Robert the Reaper Whittaker taking on Ikram Aliskerov, and once again, going to be taking place in the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Probably hear a lot of "It's Riyadh" season this weekend, but main event obviously is the Reaper, Robert Whittaker, taking on Ikram Aliskerov. Our co-main event in a fight that I'm not sure happens, D-Rose, is Sergey Pavlovich versus Alexander Volkov. In our feature fight of the night, we've got KG, Kelvin Gastelum, taking it on the returning D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. In our this is changed now. We've got Sharbullet Magomedov taking on Antonio Tricoli. So even Tapology hasn't even had a chance to update that. So look at that. We got the news before Tapology even updated it. Anyway, we've got Johnny Walker taking on Vulcan No Time Uzdemir. We've got Nasrat Hakparas taking on Jared Flash Gordon, dude. And we got KG and Nasrat Hakparas on the same card, D-Rose. What a treat we have. We're going to see KG fight 2 times in one night. Anyway, we got Muhammad Naimov taking on Felipe Lima. We've got Renat Fakhretdinov taking on Dynamite Nicholas Dalby, I believe. We've got Marine Gaffarov taking on Kyung Ho Kang. And then we have Magomed Gadjisliov taking on Brendan Nabario. And our first fight of the night, Long Zhao taking on Chang Ho Lee in the road to the UFC finals there. So, this is an interesting card to say the least, D-Rose. How do you feel about the card as a whole?
I mean, it's taking some licks. But I do think, I mean, for a TV card, I mean, obviously they're trying to please the Saudis a little bit. You know, they are paying for the card. But yeah, I think especially for a fight night card, I definitely got to give it I'll give it a B. I think a B is fair. Okay. You know, I think the Hamza fight versus Whittaker was obviously a little bit more, you know, highly anticipated than what Ikram is, just because Ikram's so early on. But yeah, I think overall, yeah, I think the card's still a B, and yeah, some good fights that I'm excited to watch.
All right, hell yeah. Hopefully you're off of work, man, because this is taking place at noon.
I will not. So of course, the card I get off early from work last week was absolute dog shit. While I
and even started at 8
this weekend. Yes, which was even worse. And I admittedly I fell asleep during the card. I'm not gonna lie. I had to go back and watch the rest of the fights, but yeah, it was rough.
All right, so let's get into the first fight this weekend, where we have Long Zhao taking on Chang Ho Lee. Long Zhao is did he pop in here? Oh, I still up on the screen. My bad. We got Long Zhao, 26-8 overall, won 4 of his last 5, while Chang Ho Lee is 9-1 overall, also won 4 of his last 5. Currently odds for this fight -122 for Zhao Long and -104 for Chang Ho Lee. Long Zhao from China, Chang Ho Lee from South Korea. Chang Ho Long, 26 years old, 5'8" and a 70-inch reach, while Chang Ho Lee is 30 years old, 5'8" and a 69-inch reach. Yeah, D-Rose, give me, I guess, just a more experienced fighter. Long Zhao from China, got over 30 fights now and only 26 years old. So give me the experience with Long Zhao. Which way are you going here, man? But truly, I have no read on this fight. I don't care.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't have a read on this fight. I'm not really familiar with either fighter, but isn't this like a the final for like the road. Is it the road to the UFC?
Correct.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like I've been watching the series, so I have no idea. But I'm with you. I mean, you got a guy who's got over 30 fights compared to a guy who's only got 10 fights, and yeah, maybe it just sounds so simple to say, but yeah, Xiao Long. Yeah, I just think that is it just makes sense to go with the more experienced guy because I don't know shit about either or.
All right. So for the first fight of the night, me and D Rose are both on the slight favorite of Xiao Long at minus 122, but please don't bet on that fight this weekend. At least if you're just taking our word for it, because I don't know.
I know
shit
I'm
about
not.
them. I tried to look at it, but trying to find like the road to the UFC is fun. Yeah. Anyway, our next fight of the night, we've got Magomed Gadjisulov taking on Brenison, the brother of Haberio, but he's the gorilla, Brenison Haberio. But we've got Gadjisulov is 8-0 overall. He is undefeated, while Brenison Haberio is 15-6. Currently odds for this fight minus 360 for Gadjisulov and plus 260 for Brenison Haberio. Gadjisulov from Bahrain, 30 years old, 6'2" and a 75-inch reach, while Brenison Haberio is obviously Brazilian, 27 years old, 6'3" and an 81-inch reach. So this is an interesting one, D-Rose. I know neither one of us probably don't know shit about Gadjisulov. This is his UFC debut. He fought on the Contender Series against Jose Medina, where he did win via decision, dude. But Brenison Haberio's not good, but we've at least seen him fight in the UFC. He lost. He won on the Contender Series against Bruno Lopez, dude. This one is a one that is also tough for me to call too, just because it's super low level. We haven't seen really enough of either guy yet, but I'm going to give you guys a heads up. This is a card where I don't even know if I'm on one dog this weekend. So this is a card that I feel like this is a parlay card. You just parlay all the favorites up, and you'll probably be all right at the end of the night, because we are in Saudi. We are having a lot of these Russian fighters, Bahrain fighters, just the Muslim fighters on the card. And yeah, I think they're going to get the dub. So give me Magomed MG Gadjisulov to probably win this fight via decision. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, I think I think the big thing for Brenison Haberio, he's honestly, he seems like he fights a lot like his brother Claudio Haberio. Like, those dudes just go out and absolutely go for it in the first round, and if they don't get the finish in the first round, I mean,
just time to pack it up.
Yeah, you might as well go ahead and kiss that fight goodbye, boys. I mean, you might as well go ahead and keep moving to the next one, because yeah, you're definitely gonna lose that bet if you bet on any Haberio to win and it gets outside of the first round. Yeah, as you said, we don't know about Magomed right now, but just from what we've seen, like you said, in the Contender Series and stuff, at least he's kind of proven that he has been able to go to decision a couple different times. So I think as long as he just survives the early storm from Haberio, he should be able to win the fight. So let's go, Gadjisulov. That sounds about right. Let's Gadjisulov.
Close enough, dude. Close enough. So we will move on to actually the first fight of the night, where I'm able to give you guys some reads that I feel like are worthy, because I've seen enough of these guys in the UFC. I'm able to know what they do, what their level is for the most part. Now, am I going to be right 100% of the time? Of course not, because no one is. But I can try. We have Tajik Muin Gafarov taking on Mr. Perfect Kyung Ho Kang. Tajik Muin Gafarov is 18-6 overall. With he's won 2 fights out of his last 5. With got a guillotine loss to Said Nurmagomedov. He did lose a decision to John Castaneda, but knocked out Diego Silva with a spinning back fist. Oh, that's LFA. Just kidding. D-Rose, do I get two fighters confused? Do I get Muin Gafarov and
He's fighting on this card. I know who you're
yeah,
talking about.
I have to get them confused, right? Who is it? Muin Gafarov and
or I thought he was fighting on this card.
Or he was just knowing.
I know who you're talking about. The guy he knocked out Jamie Malarkey.
Yeah.
I know. Of course, I just forgot his name. As soon as you
I think I get them confused. I think I have.
Yeah, I did too, because that's exactly what I thought. I was like, dude, bantamweight? I thought he's a lightweight.
Right. I was like, didn't he knock out Jamie Malarkey? But but this is this is the other guy. So this one wrestles, dude. So this one wrestles and goes to the. Oh, this one. Okay. So okay. All right. This rings a bell now. I know where we're going. All right. So, currently odds for this fight. Muhammad Naimov. That's what it is.
Because he was supposed to fight this weekend, right? I could have swore I saw his name on this card.
He probably is, dude. So currently odds for this fight are plus 136 for Kyung Ho Kang and minus 174 for Muhammad Naimov. Muhammad Naimov from Tajikistan, but fighting out of a few hours above us, D-Rose, fighting out of Fairfax, Virginia, up near DC.
Gafarov. You went with Naimov that time, I dare to say.
Did I just say Naimov right now?
Yeah, you just said Naimov right there, but it's Muin Gafarov on who's fighting Mr. Perfect here. So
anyway, so Muin Gafarov is fighting Mr. Perfect this weekend. He is 28 years old, 5'7" and 68-inch reach, while Kyung Ho Kang is 19 and 10 overall. Lost the Quinones fight is the one that stands out the most to me, because he got blasted and then ended up winning via rear naked choke. But this fight right here is probably the one that we're going to look at the most. This decision loss to John Castaneda. Currently odds for this fight, I probably already said it, but plus 136 for Kyung Ho Kang and minus 174 for Muin Gafarov. Gafarov, 28 years old, 5'7", 68-inch reach. Kyung Ho Kang, 36 years old, 5'9", 73-inch reach. I was all over the place there, D-Rose. Give me Muin Gafarov to win this fight via decision.
I think the same. I think Mr. Perfect, he can thump. I think this is going to be one of those. This is going to be a PBF for sure. PBF, because there's going to be a lot of grappling, a lot of clinch exchanges here. But I think Muin Gafarov uses his he can try. But I think Muin Gafarov by decision here as well.
All right, so me and D-Rose both on Tajik Muin Gafarov to win this fight via decision. I think
not Muhammad Naimov.
Yeah. Muin Gafarov.
Now I get it too.
Now you keep saying it, and I'm like, shit. What am I even saying at this point? I don't know. Those are for sure two fighters that are easily you can get.
And they're fighting on the same card. So I mean, we got Kelvin Gastelum fighting twice, and Muhammad Naimov fighting twice in the same night. I mean, we got a wild night.
That's why I was so confused. I was like, because I did fight. I fucking research. So like when I pull the fight up, fucking thinking that it's like one, I'm like, did I look at the wrong fighter this past 3 days now? But I didn't. He's on this card too. I would just feel like an idiot. So so let's move on to another fun one, dude, where we have Renat Gladiator Fakhretdinov taking on the Danish Dynamite Nicholas Dalby, dude. Are we going to have our first different pick here? Let's see. All right. So, get out of my face, Planet Fitness. We have Renat Fakhretdinov. That is 22-2-1 overall. His last fight was a draw against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos in a fun fight, to say the least. On the other hand, Nicholas Dalby is 23-4-1 overall. In his last fight, he surprised everyone with a Gabriel Bonfim TKO there. So currently odds for this fight, minus 360 for Renat Fakhretdinov, plus 260 for Nicholas Dalby. Renat Fakhretdinov, 32 years old, 6 foot, 74-inch reach, while the Danish Dynamite Nicholas Dalby is 39 years old, 5 foot 11, and a 74.5-inch reach. How do I want to do this? I usually go Nicholas Dalby, and D Rose will tell you that I'm surprised that you haven't picked him in the last 2 fights now. But yeah, I'd personally just see Renat just having enough wrestling and control throughout the first 2 rounds to win the 29-28 decision if he's completely gassed in the third. But if not, I suspect Renat Fakhretdinov 30-27. So give me Renat Fakhretdinov to win this fight via decision. I don't think Nicholas Dalby can stop the takedowns. But D Rose, you want to tell me why I am wrong? If I am wrong,
I'm not gonna lie. This is one that I have been going back and forth with. I was big on Renat Fakhretdinov in his last fight against Dos Santos. Eliseu, right? Dos Santos that he fought, and he really gassed in that fight in that third round. That's why Dos Santos was able to really kind of land that body work and hurt him. And yeah, I think that Dos Santos really showed good submission defense as well. And once Fakhretdinov, he wasn't really able to land much on the feet. His striking wasn't great. His cardio wasn't great, and then his wrestling was great in the first round. But outside of that first round, he didn't really do too much. And a lot of people thought Dos Santos won that fight. I think Dalby just presents a lot of different problems. I think, and I'm not a guy who actually picks Nicholas Dalby. I'm one who was naturally told people that Nicholas Dalby is overrated, not underrated. I thought he got a lot of credit for getting a win against Darren Till, but I do think just in terms of how they match up, I do think Nicholas Dalby matches up well with Renat Fakhretdinov because I think he's got good wrestling defense. I think he, is good as far as the jiu-jitsu defense, him defending submissions. I think Nicholas Dalby can do that as well. And I think there's one thing that we know for sure. Nicholas Dalby is going to be sitting there. He's going to be mouth breathing like hell, but that dude's going to be in that fight the whole time in your face. Looking to just put that pace on you, man. So I think he can do that to Renat Fakhretdinov, and he's going to be from the second and third round. I think he's going to take over, and I think Nicholas Dalby wins rounds 2 and 3 to steal unanimous decision, or let's say a split decision here, just to make it even better. But let's go Nicholas Dalby here. All
right. I see it as a tough ask also than being in Saudi too, just because, some little fixes can be put in there. So that's why it's just a tough ask for Nick Dalby this weekend, in my opinion. So we'll move on to the next one where we do have Muhammad Naimov, the Hillman. He's going to be taking on Felipe Duoro. Not moving Gafarov. Muhammad Naimov is 11-2 overall. Knocked out Eric Silva, leg injury 3 months ago, and Nathaniel Wood decision win in a close fight, dude. Let's be real, dude. He was cheating a lot, though. He was grabbing the fence. He was grabbing gloves. He was cheating a lot in that fight, but he did get the dub. And then this one knocked out Jamie Malarkey, which is the one that really stands out. It was UFC debut. On the other hand, Felipe Lima is his UFC debut, coming from not the Contender Series, from a regional scene. 12-1 overall. Currently, odds for this fight. My phone keeps locking on me. Muhammad Naimov, is minus 125, your favorite, and Felipe Lima minus 102. Also, still minus money as well. Muhammad Naimov, 29 years old, 5'9", and a 70-inch reach, while Felipe Lima is 26 years old, 5'6", and we ain't got a reach yet, but give me the fighter with UFC experience to probably win this fight via decision. So give me Muhammad Naimov to win this fight via decision. T-Rose, which way are you going here?
I think Muhammad Naimov. I'm laughing because I actually almost went Muin Gafarov there as well. I literally had to look at it. I literally had to look at his name and be like, "Oh shit, yeah, we're talking."
You
about
can't look at
Naimov.
the fighter. You have to look at the name because they look the same.
Yeah.
They're like
Ye-
ultra hairy dudes with a bushy hair and a bushy beard. Like they have
Yeah,
so
hairy
much chest
chest.
hair. Like, yeah.
Their flag colors are the same. So like,
Dude,
yeah,
they're both
it's
from
like,
Tajikistan. They're
right?
both from
Yeah, exactly.
Tajikistan.
Yeah, exactly. So like, yeah, when you're looking, I'm just talking about, I'm looking up and down. I just see the same flag color. Yeah, you see that and you're like, oh yeah, same dude. But yeah, I think Muhammad Naimov. I think just at this point, just more UFC proven, more
I
UFC
think I have
experience.
the reflex of one of the beans, dude. Just nasty flavor in my mouth.
Yeah, probably that booger trying to come back up and haunt you there a little bit. But yeah, and I know it's easy to say with just the UFC experience, but yeah, I think Muhammad Naimov's kind of shown us and proven to us at this point that as you said, willing to do anything to win. And the dude is good as well. That Nathaniel Wood fight, it was a good scrap. Nathaniel Wood is a good fighter, and he's UFC tested as well. And Muhammad Naimov did go in there and get the win against him as well. So yeah, I'm going Muhammad Naimov. Let's go by decision.
All right, me and you are both on Hillman Muhammad Naimov to win this fight via decision. So we'll move on up to the next one in another fun one, dude. And I don't know if I'm too confident on this fight or not because truly, I don't think there's a chance Jared Gordon wins this fight. But let's talk about it. We have the first time Kelvin Gastelum will be fighting will be Jared Gordon. We have Nasrat Haqparast taking on Jared Flash Gordon. Nasrat Haqparast 16-5-0 out of his last 5 fights. He has won 3 and lost 2. Knocked out Jamie Malarkey 6 months ago. Decision win over Landon Quinones, but which showed Landon Quinones is tough. And Robert Whittaker decision win. On the other hand, Jared Gordon knocked out Mark Madsen 7 months ago and ruined everyone's parlays that bet the over in that fight, dude. And I saw the highlights again this week, dude. It almost looks fake the way he got it. Like it's like he got hit and then I like fucking Mark Madsen just crumpled, fell over, dude. I was like,
yep,
what the hell just happened?
We watched that fight together, correct?
I'm not.
Yeah,
sure,
I believe that was on the MSG card. I'm pretty sure that was on the MSG card that you came in and watched, the Alex and Tom Aspinall card. I'm pretty sure that was on that same card.
It's possible.
Yeah, it was
currently odds for this fight -250 Nasrat Haqparast, +190 for Jared Gordon. Nasrat 28 years old, 5'10", and a 72-inch reach, while Jared Gordon is 35 years old, 5'9", and a 68-inch reach. Yeah, D-Rose. I think Nasrat Haqparast has very solid takedown defense if he is prepared for it. If he's not prepared for it, like against Dan Hooker, he's just going to get taken down over and over because Dan Hooker doesn't wrestle, and he went in there with the game plan of Khabib Nurmagomedov. It was absolutely nuts. So Nasrat Haqparast knows Jared Gordon likes to wrestle, and just Jared Gordon's a little bit older now. He does have some power, but Landon Quinones, but Nasrat Haqparast has a chin on him. So I don't see Jared Gordon knocking out Nasrat Haqparast. And on the feet, Nasrat Haqparast is a pure striker. He doesn't wrestle at all. So give me Nasrat Haqparast to box up Jared Gordon all 3 rounds to win a decision. And dude, I'm gonna play the 3-or decision just to be safe, because if it's 2 rounds of just Jared Gordon getting the shit beat out of him, dude, I'm not convinced Nasrat won't finish him in the 3rd, just standing. Yeah. So give me Nasrat Haqparast 3-or decision here. Which way are you going here, man?
I mean, honestly, you broke that fight down just exactly how I see it. Yeah, I think Nasrat, he's the better boxer. He's got good takedown defense. Like you said, the Dan Hooker fight, I don't think he was expecting the takedowns from Dan Hooker, for 1. 2, he took the fight on short notice. And 3, Dan Hooker has more dangerous striking that he can use to sort of set up his grappling. And I think that's what he was able to do in that fight, versus where Jared Gordon, I think he's kind of a wrestler first, striker second. he's got pretty good boxing. He's not the most incapable striker in the world, but I think just in terms of what Nasrat has seen, Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, Drew Dober, guys like that, we know that he's gone up against some pretty good strikers, and he's kind of held his own against them. And guys like, I think, a very comparable fight is a fight that Nasrat has had, and that was against John McDessie. And, he, not that he made that fight look easy, John McDessie was able to get in and get some takedowns and stuff like that. But for the most part, Nasrat was able to kind of walk away with that fight pretty cleanly. And I think he does the same here. Boxes up Jared Gordon for 3 rounds. And let's go on Nasrat hack press. Kelvin Gastelum.
Me and D-Rose both on Nasrat hack press there. Appreciate you, Matt Pesky, for stopping by. What's up, Golden Octagon? Big fan. Hope you guys are doing great. Yeah, I appreciate you, Alex. Thank you for stopping by tonight, brother.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate the kind words. Doing all right tonight, man. So let's move on to the next one. That is a hard one to call, man. We have Volkan No Time Oezdemir taking on Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker is 21-8 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he has won 3, lost 1, and a no contest against Magomed Ankalaev for the illegal knee, but lost to Ankalaev right after that. 5 months. Anyway, on the other hand, Volkan No Time Oezdemir, 19-7 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he has lost 3, won 2. His last win was 9 months ago, club and sub over Bogdan Guskov, and before that, lost the decision to Nikita Krylov. Not the best look in the world. Currently, odds for this fight are pretty even, dude. -111 Johnny Walker, -115 for Volkan No Time Oezdemir. Johnny Walker, 32 years old, 6'6" at 82-inch reach, while Volkan No Time Oezdemir is 34 years old, 6'2" and a 75-inch reach. Man, this is, if anyone says anything different this weekend on any other shows you watch, they're lying, dude. Dude, Johnny Walker, how can you be confident in any pre-fight Johnny Walker fight, dude? Because there's 2 things. Like, he could go in and it could look like the Paul Craig fight, or he could go in and it could look like the Thiago Santos fight, and you don't know what he's going to do. It's just,
or it could look like the Jamal Hill fight.
Yeah. Like, but yeah. I mean, but like when he wins, when he wins, his game plan, like, if Johnny Walker wins this fight, it's going to look like Thiago Santos did. It's going to be a really boring fight. And this is my personal opinion. I could be wrong. As I just said, we never know how Johnny Walker wants to fight. So anyone that's super confident in this fight, I don't know how you could be, man. But yeah, I just think Volkan is just beat at this point, dude. I see better things from Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker more explosive, more ways to win. And yeah, dude, I don't hate. Let me see if we got props for this yet. We do, dude. I don't hate Johnny Walker by submission at plus 1,100 right now, dude. I don't hate that either. Give me Johnny Walker to win this fight via decision. But I could see Johnny Walker club and subbing Volkan Oezdemir as well, because look at the Iwan Kutalaba fight. It's definitely possible. Johnny Walker has a few, and plus 1,100, dude, probably worth a shot, man. And I'm surprised we got props this early, man. But yeah, give me Johnny Walker to win the fight via decision. Which way are you going, man?
Yeah, it's a decently big card this weekend. So
Walker
again,
KO, Walker KO, Walker by everyone's on Walker by KO or no time decision. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Tough fight.
No time. That's funny. No time decision. That sounds like all the time, because he's got all the time to consume in the octagon. This fight is hard. It's hard for me to call, dude. I am with you. You look at Volkan, his last few fights, he's had the fight. I thought the Nikita Krylov fight, I thought he actually won that fight. Unfortunately lost that fight. He does have a win against Alexander Rakic, which a lot of people don't realize. Has that loss against Dominic Reyes, but a lot of people actually thought that Volkan Oezdemir won that fight. I know that fight was a long time ago, but you just look at some of their fights and how weird they've kind of played out. And as you said, Johnny Walker, you just never know what you're going to get with that dude. As you said, you could have a Thiago Santos fight, you could have the Misha Serkinov performance, or you could have the Jamal Hill performance. Like, he is the jack of all trades when it comes to the wildest, most spectacular ways a fight can go and the most extremes. So it's just super hard to call Johnny Walker, man. And I think the thing that separates it for me is that I think Volkan is the more technical fighter between the two. I think Johnny Walker is the more dangerous of the two. I think, he has more power, more explosivity. So, flying knees, big kicks and stuff like that. But I think as long as Volkan Ozdemir doesn't get hit with one of those shots early, I think you even saw it in that Bogdan fight in his last fight. He was able to use a little bit more wrestling in that fight as well. Plus, we know the good boxing that he has. I think he can work himself in the range well. And I think Volkan Ozdemir ends up getting the win here. So let's go Volkan Ozdemir. I'll go by decision. I think he uses a little bit more of his wrestling and goes by decision.
All right, so me and D-Rose split for the second time tonight. D-Rose on Volkan, no time Ozdemir. I'm on Johnny Walker. Matt Pesky had over 1.5 rounds is a safe bet to toss in my opinion, dude. I can't. No, I can't, dude. Just Johnny Walker could easily knock out or get knocked out himself in the first round. He has been known to. I am not that confident, man. Walker is the most dangerous to himself as well. Yeah, dude. And then Dave Fish for Days, I'm on Volk by decision as well. So You're not the only one, D-Rose. Tough fight. It is split pretty close. So we'll move on to the next fight. I don't think it's the co-main event, but it could be. Is co-main event?
It probably should be if we're being honest. But
yeah. But it's okay. So
it actually might be if what you think comes true this weekend.
Yeah. Only half of the Tapology screen is going to be correct right now with a jump scare of Sharabullet Magomedov on there. Yeah, dude. He is Sharabullet Magomedov is 12-0 from Russia, 30 years old, 6'2" and a 73-inch reach. Not going to give you odds right now because they are not available because the fight was just made. He is not going to be taking on Jolton Luderbach. He is going to be taking on, should have been fighting Ikram Aliskerov last week. He is going to be taking on Antonio Tricali. Antonio Tricali, 6'5", and an 82-inch reach from Brazil, dude. So giant guy. Sharabullet Magomedov, on the other hand, 6'2" and a 73-inch reach. So yeah, let's do this. Sharabullet is now taking on Antonio Tricali, dude. We don't have odds for it, but Sharabullet 6'2", Antonio Tricali 6'5". Sharabullet's reach is 73, while Antonio Tricali's, dude, is 82 inches. Yeah, man, I thought last week that Ikram was going to absolutely crush Antonio Tricali, but on the other hand, I don't rate Sharabullet Magomedov as high as I rate Ikram Aliskerov, and I don't know yet with Ikram, I guess. Yeah, dude, if this fight ends up on the ground, Sharabullet might lose because I know, you yourself were able to take him down multiple times when you fought him a few months ago, dude. And I know he was just landing those elbows on your head, but, he seems to have absolutely no ground game. So, yeah, kind of an odd fight to be made here, but I suspect Sharabullet going to do some sketchy shit, and him only fighting in like fucking Saudi, like overseas there. It wouldn't surprise me if he's on all the steroids where they ain't even testing, dude. He's only got one eye. Let him do whatever he wants, dude. So, yeah, give me Sharabullet to probably knock out Antonio Tricali in the first round, but we ain't got odds for that yet.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Sharabullet's going to look. I like the I like the jump scare.
Dude, you can't tell me. Like, look how. Just look at this.
That dude could literally be like in a haunted house and would be like if you and your friends went to a haunted house, he would 100% be the scariest dude in there. If he just stood in there with his shirt off, like everybody'd be like, ah, and like run the other way, like 100%.
Absolutely nuts.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
man.
I was
I gotta
actually
get this off the
thinking
stream
about
before we get
going.
demonetized, dude.
Yeah.
Look at that
Yeah, I was
there.
actually thinking about going Lutterback against Sharp Bullet here, just because I thought maybe a little bit more experience. But Antonio Tricoli, as you said, I thought Ikram was going to crush him. I mean, I think as long as Sharp Bullet stays on the feet, obviously, but as you said, takedown defense isn't great. Kind of reminds me of like a middleweight Yair Rodriguez a little bit. Super explosive with the strikes, can kind of gas out a little bit, doing all the spinning shit. But yeah, I think Sharp Bullet should be able to get the win here. Let's go by, I'll say by decision, because I think he's going to be a little bit more hesitant with the match switch up so late.
Got you. Predicting fight highlight reel finish. UFC wants to fast pace this guy. Super marketable. I don't think he can fight anywhere outside of Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, because he only has one
anywhere where
eye.
the UFC can control the fight commission. Anywhere where the UFC can control it.
Him only having one eye really hurts him being approved by the commission to fight. Now Rosas going to be the scariest out of the house. Dude, that's what this past weekend Hanato like Moicano was like, you see that motherfucker? One of the ugliest. He's like, pause right there. That is one of the ugliest motherfuckers.
He said that motherfucker looked like my cat. Yeah, I love Moicano, man.
Yeah, especially scary if you happen to live in an alternative lifestyle. Yeah, don't hang out outside of train stations and put your arm around females near Shar Bullet Magomedov. He'll try to kill you. It doesn't make sense, dude. Imagine turning a corner and just boom, just the dude standing there. Dude. Crazy. All right, here we go. All right, man. Let's move on to the featured fight of the night. But in my opinion, probably will end up being co-main event. Kelvin Gastelum going to fight for the second time on the night, but he is going to be taking. What is this? Get out of my way. He's going to be taking on Daniel D-Rod Rodriguez. KG is 18-9 overall, man, and every man just doesn't look the best, to be honest. Like all of his losses are kind of getting worse, to be honest, dude. But he did move back down to 170. D-Rod on the other hand got cut from the UFC, and he's back now. Got head kicked a year ago by Ian Gary. Currently odds for this fight. I have Tricoli up on my screen right now. Currently odds for this fight are minus 250 for Kelvin Gastelum and plus 190 for D-Rod. Kelvin Gastelum, 32, 5'9", and a 71.5-inch reach, while D-Rod's 37, 6'1", and a 74-inch reach. Yeah, D-Rose, I don't want to say I don't care about this fight. I guess I do. But not a fight that I need, to be honest. If you ask me how I think this fight goes, I think Kelvin Gastelum is able to just outwork D-Rod for 3 rounds, maybe get a few more takedowns. If he's smart, he'll implement the takedowns. So give me Kelvin Gastelum to win this fight via decision. And for that to happen, Kelvin Gastelum to win by points is plus 105. So, yeah, I'll take KG by points. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, this one's a little bit tough for me to call. Yeah, I'm a fan of both fighters, and for KG, obviously the dude's fought the absolute best of the best. In one of my favorite fights of all time. He's on the poster behind me here with Izzy and himself. One of the best fights of all time, in my opinion. He had a very great run at middleweight, and trying to make the drop back down to welterweight where he first started his career. Trying to see if he can get a little bit of a resurgence. And then you got Daniel Rodriguez coming in here. He's been a guy who fun fights for the most part. Hadn't really gotten up to that upper tier yet in terms of fighting the best competition. He's fought some good guys like the Leech and
dude. It's just when you the two best fighters he's lost to. He got choked out by Neil Magny in his last two fights, and then got head kicked by Ian Gary. So
Right.
it's like
and those two guys are. Yeah, there's definitely a tier. There's definitely a tier for sure. My question is Kelvin Gastelum still a part of that tier anymore? I mean, as you said, his losses are getting a little bit worse. He's got that win against Chris Curtis, but I mean, he got credited for a knockdown after he headbutted Chris Curtis. And in my opinion, I actually thought Chris Curtis still won that fight. Man, I see D-Rod, as long as he does not get taken down, man, I think he's a cleaner boxer between the two. I think he'll be able to control the range a little bit more. I think this fight might be a little bit of a slower pace fight if D-Rod ends up fighting on his terms. But, yeah, man, I think D-Rod's a better boxer here. And I think Kelvin Gastelum, he's not the submission threat that Neil Magny is either. Like, Neil Magny can put that pace and pressure on you because we know he has a gas tank for days. While Kelvin Gastelum can go 3 rounds, I don't know how much he really utilizes his pace as a weapon. Plus, he's cutting down to 170. So how much is that going to take away from his cardio versus what he would have had at 185? So, yeah, I think D-Rod here is by decision is going to be the way. I'm probably going to end up betting this fight. And, yeah, I think D-Rod gets a win, man. Kelvin Gastelum at minus 250 at this point in his career is absolutely crazy to think.
Yeah, dude, both fighters right now, it's like their losses just don't look great in their past few fights, man. It's just like, but D-Rod, almost 40. I think Kelvin Gastelum, if there's anyone that has anything left, it's probably him. Let's see. Who games? I'm not sure.
I don't like playing games.
Yeah. Who gasses out? In this fight, I don't think either one of the fighters gas out. In this next fight, though, we'll have some people gas out if it gets there. So let's move on, D-Rose, to right now the co-main event, where we have Sergey Pavlovich taking on Alexander Drago Volkov. Sergey Pavlovich, 18-2 overall out of his last 5 fights. He's won 4 of them, and then got knocked out 7 months ago by I'm going to call him your heavyweight champion, Tom Aspinall. On the other hand, Alexander Volkov, 37-10, also won 4 of his last 5. His only loss was to Tom Aspinall 2 years ago. So both fighters out of their last 5 have only lost to Tom Aspinall. Currently odds for this fight, minus 245 for Sergey Pavlovich and plus 186 for Alexander Volkov. Pavlovich, 32 years old, 6'3", and an 84-inch reach, while Volkov is 35, 6'7", and an 80-inch reach. D-Rose, yeah, man, I'm surprised Pavlovich isn't minus 400 here with the way that I've heard Volkov talk about this fight, man. Like, the reason I don't think this fight happens, one is because Volkov has been on the record saying multiple times that Pavlovich is his main sparring partner. They train together all the time. So why would you want to fight like your main sparring partner? So UFC is kind of making them do this fight. So this fight has the potential to be dog shit. This could be a light sparring match for 3 rounds and no one thinks it's going to go to decision, and it ends up going to decision, dude. But hopefully that's not the case. What Volkov has said was he doesn't like to hard spar with Pavlovich because every time he gets hit, he wants to not spar anymore. So that being said, if Pavlovich touches Volkov, dude, he's going to hurt him. He's hurting him in sparring. He already doesn't like to get hit by him in sparring. So if this fight plays out, they drop the friendship, they go in there and fight. Dude, I got Pavlovich first round knockout, but I don't know if they're going to do that because of their friendship, dude. So I'm going to go Pavlovich to win the fight. He is minus 245, your favorite. Volkov is plus 186. But I'm going to go Pavlovich via knockout, minus 135. But sneaky play, Pavlovich by points is plus 600, D-Rose. And it's only 3 rounds. If they go in there and have a sparring match, Pavlovich by points at plus 600, I don't hate. But I don't know if he has the gas tank to go all 3 rounds either. So, dude, this is a fight that's like, dude, I'm going to make a few bets on it, but my confidence on it is very, very low. But I think Pavlovich wins this fight everywhere if he doesn't gas out. So give me Sergey Pavlovich to win this fight via first round knockout. Which way you going here, man?
Yeah, I mean, I did hear about the I did hear about them being training partners and stuff like that as well, and that is also, as you said, an interesting background because maybe that could turn into an effect on how this fight plays out. Whether it ends up being a little bit slower or not, and if I'm being honest, I think if the fight plays out like that, me personally, I think that favors Alexander Volkov. I mean, we know how Sergey Pavlovich wants to go in there and get it done, dude. He wants to go in there. He wants to get in the pocket. He wants to trade, and once he lands one of his big bombs, that's going to be it. And I think if there's anything that we've seen out of his wins in the UFC, they have all came in the first round. They've all came by first round stoppage by him landing a big shot. But
what kind of shot is it always? It's always like from a certain distance and it's always a certain type of shot.
That freaking uppercut that comes from one side of the octagon to the other that he's literally throwing from 30 feet across the octagon, and that uppercut somehow still continues to land. Every single time. It never fails for Pavlovich, dude. That dude's an absolute. The dude's got a mechanical arm with his freaking reach. What is it? 84 inches his reach. Yeah. So, absolutely crazy, dude. But man, for me, I think Alexander Volkov is the more well-rounded fighter. I think as you saw in his last fight, the way he was kind of able to submit Taito Iwasa. I mean, dude, that was a very impressive choke. The way he was able to, kind of get that off. Yeah, that was very impressive. The way he was able to work that, and that's something that Alexander Volkov has been working on his last few fights. Is kind of working out his well-roundedness. He knocked out Jair Rozenstruik with good striking, so and a precision punching. Yeah, I think as long as Volkov controls the range, I think it's his fight to lose, man. So, yeah, I think Alexander Volkov here, I'd maybe even take a long shot and maybe even think about playing Volkov by decision, especially if he's able to get the fight down to the ground and kind of expose Pavlovich to where we have seen him exposed before by Alistair Overeem in the past. So yeah, I'm going Alexander Volkov here, man.
Alexander Volkov by points is also plus 600. Both fighters to win by points is plus 600. So both, if you think this goes over, man, it wouldn't surprise me, dude. So, me and D-Rose are split on the co-main event if the fight happens. So let's move on to the main event where we have Robert the Reaper Whittaker taking on Ikram Aliskerov. Robert Whittaker is 25-7 overall out of his last 5 fights. 1-1, lost 1, alternating, but 1-3 and lost 2 out of his last 5. Ikram, out of his last 5, he has won all 5 of them. He has 15, and he is 15-1 overall. His only loss ever is to Khamzat Chimaev. In his last fight, knocked out Orly Alves. Before that, knocked out Phil Halls, and before that, won on the Contender Series submission Kimura. Currently, odds for this fight are Robert Whittaker minus 154 and Ikram Aliskerov plus 120. Robert Whittaker is 33 years old, 6 foot, and a 73.5-inch reach, while Ikram Aliskerov is 31 years old, 6 foot, and a 76-inch reach. So they're going to size up pretty well, about the same height. Ikram going to have about a 2.5 reach advantage over Rob, though. D-Rose, how I feel about this fight specifically is, so this fight is late notice. Made last week. Robert Whittaker was scheduled to fight Khamzat Chimaev, and Ikram Aliskerov was scheduled to fight Antonio Tricali. It's not the biggest change up in opponents for Rob as it is for Ikram Aliskerov. Like Rob was going to fight already 5 rounds against basically Ikram Aliskerov, that likes to wrestle in a lot more pressure. But now it's like everything points toward Robert winning this fight. If Ikram wins this fight, he will shock a lot of people, me being one of the ones that he will shock, because I don't think he's the best already. We haven't seen him fight anyone even decent yet, aside from Hamza, and he got smoked. So this is a big step up in competition. And I just think Robert just absolutely outclasses him. I don't mind the Robert Whittaker 4-5 or decision prop, which is currently plus 175, because I'm not sure Ikram can hold up to the pressure and pace for the Reaper for 4 rounds, dude. So 4-5 or decision, Robert Whittaker is the way I'm going here. So give me Robert Whittaker to win this fight, probably via decision. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think this fight's a good fight. I mean, they ended up having to do this to obviously save the card. And other than that, Robert Whittaker and Ikram Aliskerov would be nowhere near happening. More or less just because Robert needed a fight, and Ikram was available. So kind of sliding that in. Like you said, coming out the Hamza fight. Ikram and Hamza are a little bit different just in terms of their striking. Ikram does use a little bit more kicks, and his boxing is a little bit more. I would say I don't want to say clean. He throws more combos than Hamza does. Hamza throws 1-2s.
With fighting Phil Halls, dude, he was like missing bad, dude. Like, he's not the best striker. You have to say that, because it's just like, dude.
No, he throws combos more than Hamza does. I think Hamza's more of a traditional boxer, kind of 1-2s, and Hamza's got a nasty uppercut, as Ikram Aliskerov can attest to. That not saying that Hamza does not have capable striking, but I just think their striking game is a little bit different. And then I know that Ikram has that Sambo background, so just in terms of how they get their takedowns is a little bit different versus Hamza uses more traditional wrestling. But I think it's just the levels, man. I mean, I think for Ikram Aliskerov, I think he's still unproven at this point. I do think that he is going to be a great UFC fighter, and I think that he is on his way. I just think this is so much of a big jump. I mean, like you said, Phil Halls, Warley Alves, Robert Whittaker. I mean, you're talking about Robert Whittaker, who's been in there with the best of the best at middleweight and held his own against many and plenty. And we've never seen Ikram Aliskerov go 5 rounds at all. We've seen, Whittaker do that plenty against Yoel Romero 2 different times after going through wars with him. And yeah, the guy's already been there with the best of the best. I think you're going to hear this comparison a lot coming up within the next few months to some of these matchups, but I think there's a little bit of a Benoit Saint Denis, Dustin Poirier element to this fight, where maybe Ikram is biting off just a little bit more than he could chew right now. Not to say that he can't be a great fighter, but I think it's too big of a step up, and I think Robert Whittaker gets the job done.
Yeah, man. I would have liked to seen the Paulo Costa fight. I would have liked to seen who else did he get matched up with?
Nasruddin.
Well, yeah, fucking Nasruddin. Wait, hold on. Huh?
I believe it was Nasruddin.
Was it Imavov? Yeah. Like it was.
Yeah,
so
I believe it was Nasruddin Imavov.
I have no idea when you said fucking Nasruddin. Fucking Nazarite hack press fucking popped up in my head. I was like, huh? Like that was all right.
He's fighting this weekend.
Yeah, like that was all right. Yeah, so me and D-Rose both on the Reaper, Robert Whittaker, to win this fight. Probably via decision my way, D-Rose. What do you say?
Yeah, I'd say maybe decision. If I'm betting it, I'm probably going to do Whittaker 4 or 5 or decision, because I think he can get it out of the first 3 and maybe get a finish late if he doesn't get the decision.
All right, so we have 4 different fights, and shout out Lush Lomain for helping us out keeping track of these for us. Our first different one is Renat Fakhreddinov versus Nick Dalby. Our second one is Johnny Walker versus Volkan Oezdemir. Third one is KG versus D-Rod, and the fourth one is Volkov versus Pavlich. And I am not the pick champ this week, so I will have the pleasure of picking the fights to decide on for this week. So.
Tough week this week.
What I'm doing, D-Rose, is being the smart one, dude. You already know which one I'm fucking throwing out of here, yeah?
Fakhreddinov and Nicholas Dalby.
Don't try to get off easy, D-Rose.
Yeah.
You know exactly which one I'm throwing off here. The one with the most volatility. So Johnny Walker and Volkan Oezdemir is out of here.
Hey, but if Pavlovich and Volkov fall off like it doesn't, then we're still going to use Walker and Oezdemir as the backup, right?
Yeah. So Walker Oezdemir will be the backup if Pavlovich Volkov falls off. But right now, our three.
You seem pretty confident in that fight's not going to happen.
I just something tells me it's just, dude. It's like, imagine, like it doesn't work like that. Yeah, you guys picked their. So anyway, so our three different ones are Renat Fakhretdinov versus Nick Dalby, KG versus D-Rod, and Pavlovich versus Volkov. So for the pick champ and for D Rose to be eating some Bean Boozled next week. Hopefully, I don't have to do that. That was terrible. Let's see if I can get the dub, get the strap back over here this week. And we got Austin dropping the chew. Appreciate you, Austin.
Hey, with the 420.
English or Spanish? Well, I speak English. All right. Yeah.
No Espanol.
No habla español. Very poquito. With that being said, that's all we have here today on the show. You got anything before we get out of here, D Rose?
No, man. Should be a good weekend. Let's hopefully get some picks together. Let's make some money this weekend, boys. Should be a good week of fights.
Yeah. This is an English attempt at choo-choo. I appreciate you, Austin. Whoever moves first is. Yo, you for sure lost that one, dude. I fucking roasted you. You were blinking, you're smiling, dude. That one wasn't even close.
No, because your setup for that was because he stopped reading it halfway through, and that made me laugh. I'm not going. that made me laugh. I was trying to hold it in, but I couldn't.
We got Frank saying, "Let's make some money." Let's go, boys. Stay safe and let's do batty, boys. All right, man. All right. With that being said, we appreciate all y'all for stopping by here tonight. If y'all haven't already, please do us a favor, hit a thumbs up button on the video, and I will be back here Friday for Change the Cheddar, 10 p.m. East Coast time. And then Saturday we got some early fights. D-Rose, as always, you're more than welcome to join me. Change Cheddar Friday, but if you don't, it's okay. We got some early fights, so I hope you guys enjoy the early fights this weekend. Please remember that if you're betting your hard-earned money on these fights this weekend, remember it's a fist fight, and at the end of the day, anything can happen. So be safe out there. Don't be putting any more you can afford to lose. Y'all shot. Yeah. With that being said, we appreciate y'all for stopping by. We're gonna get out of here. We'll catch you guys next week here, same time, same place. Catch you guys later. Peace.